Hi, my name is Manny Pedroso from Manny's Photography, and I want to talk about this lens, a Sony 10 to 18 millimeter f4 ultra wide angle zoom lens. On APS-C sensors like the A6000, this lens is a 35 millimeter focal equivalent of 15 to 27 millimeters. It's the first lens in the Sony lineup for APS-C sensors that goes this wide. The lens is compact. It measures 2.5 to 2.9 by 2.9 inches, and it weighs about 271 grams or a half a pound. It's very light. It's very compact. As you can see, when you zoom it out, in and out, it has a slightly moves, but not much. And what's really kind of cool about that is that it moves inside the lens hood, which is I just kind of like that. I think it looks better than having it zoom out from there. So this lens features OSS, which is Sony's proprietary optical steady shot, is what that stands for, OSS, and it's image stabilization inside the lens. Like all wide-angle lenses like this lens has some barrel distortion, but it's minimal. But there is some rectilinear distortion around the edges of the frame, and this can make objects to seem stretched out. This isn't a big deal when you're shooting landscape images, but it does make a difference if you have people in your frame. If you're shooting like a group and you want to use your wide-angle lens to do that, you want to make sure that you keep the group away from the sides of the frame, all the people away from the sides of the frame, because if you have somebody right on the edge of the frame, they're going to look stretched and they're going to look strange. So you just want to pay attention to that. Also, it's important that when you're shooting with a lens, a wide lens like this, which any wide angle, this wide of an angle, is going to have this type of distortion, that you try to keep the lens parallel to your subject, because if you turn it this way or that way, it's going to amplify that rectilinear distortion and make your scene look out of proportion, I would say. This is a great little lens. I like it a lot. The lens is sharp at maximum aperture, from about 10 millimeters to 14 millimeters, and as you stop down, it gets even a little sharper along the edges. At 18 millimeters, it gets a little softer, but that's okay. You know, really the reason I bought this lens is to shoot in that range that I just mentioned, 10 to 14, say. I'm not really interested in shooting at 18 millimeters because I have a lens that shoots at that, and I bought this lens for how ultra wide it is, so I can get those panoramas. So like if you're doing interior photography and you can't back up against, you got a wall behind you can't back up anymore, this will open up your field of view and give you a wider field of view, and you'll be able to shoot better images indoors. What else do I want to say about this lens? This lens is for Sony APS-C sensors only, and that would be in the NEX and A6000 or A6300, A6500 line of cameras. It's you know, this lens makes it possible to capture images that are significantly wider than any other lens in the system, and it's so it's a really good piece of gear to have in your kit. This lens retails for $848 on Amazon, where I bought it. It's a bit expensive, you know. If you can fit it in your budget, though, I would highly recommend it, because I think it's just a great addition to your kit. Now, I've become somewhat of a minimalist when it comes to my photography. I used to have 6 or 7 lenses in my bag and a couple of cameras. At one time, I think I was looking at my camera bag and thinking I had like $15,000 worth of gear in that camera bag. I was like, oh my God, and I insured it and all that, and was always worried about it. And one day I realized I wasn't even using half of the stuff that I had. And so I decided to take a good look at myself, and I watched a video on Netflix about these 2 guys who are minimalists, and I said, yeah, I need to start thinking about what I really need for my photography and stop being my sage daughter, when she was 15, one time told me, Dad, stop being such a consumer and be a photographer. And that's what I decided to be. So I decided to start thinking about what do I really need for the type of photography that I do. And this is one of the things I need because I love doing landscape photography. I do some interior photography, but mostly this is for me, this is for doing landscape photography, and it does a wonderful job at that. I get sharp, wide images. I'm able to include everything I want in the frame, and just loving the way it works. Now this lens is complemented very well by this lens, which is a 18-105 Sony. Okay, and if I take the lens hood off of here, you can see the size difference of these two lenses. This lens is almost twice as big as this lens. This is a great lens. It takes nice stills. It's a very good video lens. It has a really nice autofocus, and so does this one. So these two lenses together give me really all the field of view that I need for the type of photography that I do. Now, I have one more lens that I use, which is the Sigma 30mm, and it's a, what is it? Oh, it's the DC-DN f1.4 lens. So it has a 1.4 aperture. This retails for $350. This one here was $590, I think. So, you know, that's the cost of my lenses. I have one other lens, one other Sigma, the 60mm Sigma lens that I paid, or my wife paid $240 for Christmas last year. And that's pretty much my kit. That's all I need. That's all the lenses I need, and all I carry. Even when I go to Europe, I just bring these and this little Sony. Now, I used to bring a big Canon, and like I said, 6 or 7 lenses and flashes, and you know, I just had this heavy big camera bag that I would carry around with me, and then I would lug these big cameras around with me when I walked around Europe. And now I just bring this little guy, my Sony a6000, and really when I go to Europe this year, these are the lenses that I'll be bringing. Is the 10 to look how small it is, I can hold it in 2 fingers. The 10 to 18mm lens, the 18-105 lens, and the Sigma 30mm lens. This one gives me a 45mm field of view, so it actually is a really nice street lens. It allows you to also shoot people and not have a distorted look on them. So yeah, these are the 3 lenses that I'm bringing, and that's in addition to my review of the 10 to 18mm, because I didn't really mean to go there, but just talking about it. I tend to do a video on traveling and what to carry with you, and why it's important to stay light. When I do go, I'll be bringing a flash, a Godox V860 flash, and a Godox TT350 flash, and those 3 lenses, and this camera, and a tripod, and that's it. That'll be my kit for going to Europe. Anyway, I really like this lens. It is a bit expensive, $848, but if you learn to be a photographer and not a consumer, like my daughter Rachel says, then you'll find that it's well worth spending the money on a few good lenses instead of having a whole score of lenses and spending all kinds of money on them and only using a few of them. So this is my thoughts on the Sony 10 to 18mm lens. If you like my review, I would please hit that like button and give me a like, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm fairly new on YouTube. I'm creating content. I'll be doing not only reviews on my gear, but I'll also be redoing tutorials on different facets of photography, on HDR, on doing landscape photography, on how to use a flash, and so I intend to create content for all those things. Anyway, so I just want to say thank you for watching my video, and I love photography. I'm an advanced amateur. I've made money at photography, but I've always thought of myself as an amateur, and the reason I do that is because amateur means for the love of it, and just keep on loving it. Thanks, bye.